Okay, you're live.
एक तरह में
कमेंट के बोले
देखो ना कोई ज्वाइन करेगा नहीं
लिखा 1 2 3 आने शुरू हो गया 5
Hi guys, I can see a few people have joined in. I'm Chef Japvir and I'm the executive chef at the JW Marriott in Chandigarh, and this is my first masterclass with Amul, and it's going to be a fun evening. I've been waiting for this for quite some time, so let's please keep it an interactive session. I have my father who's accompanying me, so say hello to him. He's also around, and both of us are here to give you company and teach you how to make some interesting cookies. What we're going to do today are Scottish almond and orange cookies. So that's I think more people are going to join in, so I'll have to introduce this dish again. Let me just wait another couple of minutes, and then we will tell you about the technical part of this recipe, and then go on to start making them. So, well, these cookies are actually very traditional in terms of being cookies. They're very simple. It's a very simple proportion of 1, 2, and 3. So it's basically flour, butter, and sugar that goes in. I just added in almonds and oranges because I love oranges. They're in season, and I thought the best part about using oranges is that you use the zest of it. So that's going to go in, and almonds are obviously very healthy. And obviously the best part about this recipe today is Amul butter, because this is one ingredient that I particularly fancy. Why? Because very early on during my chef's training I realized that you have Amul butter in your hand and you have a superpower. So Amul butter is like you add Amul butter to anything and automatically tastes nice. So this is my superpower, and I had to choose one ingredient from Amul to cook this dish, cook a recipe, and I thought I'd keep it very simple, and I would keep it. I thought I'd keep it simple, but using one ingredient that I fancy the most. So this is my Amul butter, and this is going to be a very simple dish. So
people cannot hear you. Speak louder.
Okay.
And slowly and louder.
ठीक है. Guys, can you hear me? Please thumbs up or some kind of a sign if you think that you can hear me. Am I being audible? Can you hear me? Please tell me yes or no. Is there a yes? There are two yeses. There are two yeses. Great. We need a third, and then we are on a hat trick.
But two people still saying speak louder.
Speak louder. Okay, I'll be louder.
Speak louder.
Okay. This is I'll try to be louder. Yes, I'll try to be louder. Great. So I'll start again why I'm here. I'm Chef Japvir. I'm the executive chef at the JW Marriott in Chandigarh, and I'm here to teach you how to make Scottish almond and orange cookies. Now, these are probably the easiest set of cookies that you can make. It's a very simple proportion of 1, 2, and 3 of butter, almond, and sugar, So I'm going to start using Amul butter, which is my favorite ingredient, and it's going to be not more than 20 minutes that you need to make these. So I'm just going to start with about 100 grams of butter. 100 grams of butter. I'm going to, in fact, let me just start preparing the orange rinds in the meantime. So this recipe uses orange rinds. I've got rind of 1 orange, and I'm going to be using quarter of it. I'm going to remove the white pith and use only the orange part of it. So on a chopping board, I'm just quickly going to just remove the outside edges and use the orange parts. So this is what you need. This is what you need. This is the one that has all the essential oils in it. This is the one that has all the flavor in it. So all of that has to be chopped. You might want to keep it coarse because it gives texture to your cookie. So this is all what I'm going to prep right now. Okay, so I have to be louder. I'm told I have to be louder. I'm trying to be as loud as I can. but louder. I'm told I have to be louder. All right. So while I'm doing this, again, you might, if you don't have orange peels, you can substitute this flavor with lemon, because some kind of citrus flavor does suit these cookies. But orange is what I have, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'll keep this chopped up and kept on the side. On the side, my butter is, if you've seen, it's still soft. I haven't taken it out of the fridge. It's soft because I'm going to cream the butter with the sugar. So all of this is going to be chopped, and after that's done, the rest of the cookies mix is going to be prepared. All right.
Shubhaga wants to know if anything other than orange can be used.
Yes, you can use lemon. If you don't have oranges with you, you might want to use lemon. I like citrus flavors. That's why I've gone with oranges. But in case you don't have oranges with you, if you don't particularly fancy oranges, please go ahead, substitute with lemon. But even if you don't want to use oranges or lemons in your recipe, that's perfectly good, because it'll turn out to be a buttery cookie. So a buttery cookie is good. So Scottish cookies, shortbread cookies are usually buttery. So you will have the taste of butter, and that's Amul butter in it. So it can't be bad at all. So if you want to skip the oranges from my orange cookies, go ahead, but they won't be orange cookies. That's all. But almonds, if you don't have almonds, you can use pistachio. If you don't have that as well, cashew nuts, but some sort of nuts which are oily, which have flavor, that's what you need. But I've gone with almonds and oranges. Again, that's my choice. So yeah. So my orange grind is mostly done. I'm going to keep this aside. You've seen it's quite coarse. It's not very fine. I want my cookies to have a little bit of a bite from these orange peels in them. So that's desirable.
Samrid wants to know whether peanuts can be used.
Peanuts they're pretty oily. But I wouldn't recommend them for these cookies, because they would overtake the flavor of the butter. So not peanuts. They have a very strong taste. So not peanuts. Cashew nuts, sure. Pistachio, sure. Walnuts, okay. But peanuts, no. They would really alter the recipe and turn it into something totally different.
Harleen wants to know whether she can put questions now or wait for the end.
Oh, please go ahead. Questions can keep coming in. Dad is going to give you, he's going to read them out, and I'm going to be multitasking. So please go ahead.
Shubhag wants to know whether the quantity will change if I make it as butter cookie without the citrus.
No, the quantities won't change. This is only a flavor enhancer. So in terms of the physical proportions, it doesn't change at all. So nothing changes except for the flavoring. So my butter is soft. As you can see, it's pretty soft. I'm just going to quickly take this off and put it into my glass bowl and cream it together with the sugar. There are so many memories I have of Amul butter and childhood that I can't even start talking. There is so much that comes to my mind when I see a block of Amul butter, and I'm sure this is common for a lot of people from my generation, seeing Amul butter, because this is practically the only butter that we had, and we've sort of got used to the taste of Amul butter, and we are glad we have had Amul butter in our lives. Alright, so that's the 100 grams of butter that I have here, and I have about 60 grams of sugar here. This is icing sugar. You can use caster sugar as well. So this is going to be mixed together. You might use a whisk, but this is a very simple recipe. You might just use a fork. So just butter and sugar that's going to go in. It just has to be mixed together. Oops. And yeah, so the butter is salted. So you might, so I have added a little bit of extra sugar to counter the saltiness of the butter. So that's why it's not an exact 1, 2, 3 recipe. It's slightly 10%, 20% over, because I have to compensate the saltiness of the butter. So this has to be whisked. You might want to cream it like any other cookie. You might want to whip it a little bit till this becomes a little white in color. The sugar dissolves in the butter. So from the pale yellow, it becomes almost white. But again, that's up to you. The sugar has to be dissolved. The idea is to dissolve the sugar.
Radhika wants to know how much quantity of sugar.
This is about 60 grams of sugar. So this is 60 grams of sugar going into 100 grams of butter.
Manish wants to know whether pure ghee can be used in place of butter.
Well, it will taste a little different. It will taste like a naan khatai. You were familiar with the naan khatai and it tastes just of ghee. So again, your recipe will change as per the taste, as per the ingredients that you use. So butter tastes very different from ghee. So it's natural that your cookie from a Scottish cookie will become a very traditional naan khatai. Alright, so this is going to go on. If I use a whisk, it will just happen faster. But I think the more time I spend, I'll have more answers to give to your questions. So please keep the questions on. I have some time until this becomes pale and frothy. A little bit frothy. It doesn't have to be too whipped. It's not like a cake. Just a little bit. But again, I'm just giving you company.
Jimmy wants to know, instead of castor sugar, can I use homemade powdered sugar?
In fact, that's exactly what I'm using. Castor sugar and powdered sugar is the same. I couldn't find any powdered sugar in the market, so I made powdered sugar by grinding sugar in my mixer. So DC Jugaad works, totally cool. So if you don't have castor sugar, please just grind your own sugar. Now this butter has to be, it shouldn't melt. The point is your butter, if it melts, then there is an issue. But it has to be nice and soft. Little bit of air incorporated into it, and then we're good. Now I'm going to add in my flour, refined flour, which is 100 grams. 100 grams of flour. You might, if you think you want to use oats instead of this, you don't completely change the recipe. Use a little bit, 50% of this. And if you want to replace it with a little bit of whole wheat flour, that's possible. If you want to use a little bit of oats, but 30% change is acceptable. And then, but you can't totally remove refined flour from this recipe. So maida has to go in, but minimum 50%. I'm going with a simple recipe. I don't want to complicate it too much, but I'm going to be using a little bit of almond flour to make it nice. So I'm going to be using 100 grams of this and 50 grams of almond flour. So this is going in.
Ajay wants to know what should be an average weight of a cookie dough.
Are you talking about the average weight of a piece of cookie? If Ajay is asking about the cookie, it really can change according to how big you want the cookie. American cookies are much larger. They're about 40 grams a piece. The ones that we are used to eating here are much smaller. Anything between 10 to 12 grams is the standard size. But again, that really changes as per your what you need. And your cooking time, the cookie cooking time obviously changes when the size of the cookie goes up and down. I'm adding a little bit of baking powder. This is a little twist I have because I like my cookie to be a little soft on the center. So just about 2 grams of baking powder in this. And I'm just going to combine all of this through. All the ingredients I had to go in have gone in except for the orange zest. That I'll add in the end. This is just a simple mix that I have to do. After most of the mixture is combined, I'll use my hands to knead the dough.
Maninder wants you to show the mix once done.
Oh, sure, certainly. This is what it looks like right now. It's pretty sandy in texture right now. It's going to get softer, and we don't want a very hard dough or a very soft dough. the butter is going to melt as we bake it in the oven. So we need to make sure that the texture is neither too hard, neither too soft. Yeah.
Shubhang has a question. Can I make the almond flour at home?
Yes, you can. That's exactly what I did. All the recipes that we're doing today are stuff that you can, things that you can do at your home during the lockdown. That's the entire point. None of these ingredients are difficult to find. If you have almonds, you can make almond flour. If you have sugar, you can make castor sugar. So that's a simple trick. That's exactly what I did. Usually almond flour doesn't have skin. My almond flour had a lot of skin in it because that's what I did. I ground the almonds in the mixer. So now I'm just going to start kneading this. This is just going to be quickly done. We don't want to make it, bake it. We don't want to knead it for too long. It's a cookie dough. Too much of gluten is not suitable in this. And you can just see the texture. I can easily form a dough out of it if I want to. So this is the texture. Somebody was asking. This is the texture of it. And so I'm just going to combine a little bit more with the orange zest, and then we're good. Then we can start baking the cookies.
Priya wants to know what's the effect of baking powder versus baking soda.
Interesting question. There is in this recipe, it won't make much of a difference. Baking soda and baking powder is just a little bit of a difference. Baking powder has the acid and the base in both together. The soda is only one part of it. Baking powder has both combined together. So this one I put baking powder. It has both the acid and the base together. And yeah, so my dough is almost ready.
Shubhang is asking how to make the almond flour.
Just grind in the mixer in the small masala grinder, the smallest jar. Just put the almonds. If you want to roast them, roast them. If you don't want to roast them, they're perfectly good. But just make sure that you sieve the mixture so that you don't have big pieces. But even if you have big pieces, it's okay because that will add texture to the cookie. So it's not such a big deal. So this dough has to be rested in the refrigerator for some time now because this has butter and we don't want it to immediately melt as we start baking it. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for about a couple of minutes at least and put it in the deep freezer. Ideally, I would have left it in the fridge for about half an hour. I'm going to put this in and quickly come back.
Samrid wants to know whether the orange peel should be fresh or can you use older or frozen peel?
Samrid, again, orange peels can be kept in the freezer. I had them in the freezer. That's why they've gone a little bit dark here. But fresh is better. I didn't have fresh ones. But what I do at home is that never do I throw the peel of an orange. Always manage to use it somewhere in the food. We made butter out of it. We made other things out of it. So frozen is good.
Ajay Sharma wants to know, Chef, do you think gluten-free cookies can survive amongst Indian eaters?
Well, Chef Ajay, you shouldn't underestimate India. You don't know what can sell in India, what can't. India is a very tricky market. We have a lot of people who travel overseas. So gluten-free is a very big sector. Gluten-free products are something that are being researched and developed in all areas, whether it's snacks, whether it is compound foods. You see the rise of millets. A lot of people are using millets these days, and generally this is a lifestyle issue. Gluten-free, celiac. So it is something that is bound to pick up, and of course I won't comment on which ones are good or which ones are bad. Personally speaking, if I can eat gluten, I wouldn't look at gluten-free. But there is definitely a market, and in the coming years, I do see a lot of people going into gluten-free food because there is a perception that it is healthier.
Kashmira is wanting a clarification about the amount of baking powder. Was it 1 teaspoon?
Oh, it was 2 grams. That's 2 grams.
Okay. Nina wants to know, do you mix the baking powder with the maida and then sieve it?
Yes, that can be done. Yeah, that is ideally that's how it should be done. In the meantime, I'm preheating the oven. I have thanks to my neighbors, I have oven here, and I'm preheating to 180 degrees. And while the dough is being set, the oven is being preheated. I have a tray lined up here. I'm going to start placing the cookies. Yes.
Since there is a bit of time, Ashlesha requests you to please repeat the recipe as she missed the part.
Sure. I'll put the recipe out on my Instagram handle as well. I am at chef_Japvir on Instagram. I'll put it there as well. But it's very simple. You didn't miss too much. There's 100 grams of butter. There's 60 grams of castor sugar, and there's 100 grams of refined flour, 50 grams of almond flour. All of that has been combined and it's been kneaded to a dough, and a very soft dough, and we've kept it inside the fridge for a little while, and now we're going to start baking it in some time. Give me 2 minutes. I wouldn't say it's totally chilled. It's not totally cool, but again, still moldable. That's how it's. That's how I would want to make my cookies. They will swell a little bit, 10%. They will swell up, but that's probably the size of the cookie I'd want. Bite-sized cookies. I don't like the cookies to be too big. But again, you can give it different shapes. You want to make a triangle out of it, a square out of it. But this is a molded. This is a cookie that you can easily mold in your hands. And to give it texture, I've got some almond flour here. I'm going to probably just dunk it here in this, and that's going to give a nice texture on top of it. And this is going to be baked. So the roasted almond on top of it, and the orange inside. That's going to probably be what we end up with. So this should probably make about 20. I think about 20-25 pieces should come out of this. They will expand a little bit as we bake it. But let me. Why don't you keep the questions flowing while I do this?
Brahmrit wants to know your views on vegan cookies.
Well, vegan cookies are, in fact, there is something very interesting I recently learned about, and that's cashew nut butter. I didn't quite know that there was cashew nut butter available as a product. Only recently did I come to know of it. So yes, I haven't tasted them personally, but they're definitely going to be nice because they've got cashew nuts inside and vegan. Sure. So that's a good idea. I should try it sometime. But no, I haven't tasted them myself.
Sarah requests you to post the recipe in Facebook also because she doesn't have Instagram.
Okay, sure, I'll do that.
Manish has a question. If the OTG is small, then what should be the temperature?
The temperature is pretty much the same, 160 to 180. The temperature is relative to the product that you're baking. If your oven is small, that really shouldn't matter. If I just hope the thermostat is working and giving you the right temperature, showing you the right temperature. What is inside is really what it's showing. That's the only thing that you should be careful about.
Sandhya is asking whether can we use wheat flour.
Yes, wheat flour is good as a proportion. 30% you can replace. About out of the 100 grams of refined flour I put in here, you can put in about 50 grams of atta in it to make it healthier. And even oats, you might want to just put 30 grams of oats instead of all the 100% of the wheat. So you'll still need a little bit of the maida, but you can't totally avoid it. So wheat is good, and whole wheat is good. Oats are good for this recipe.
Ruchika wants to ask you whether can we use ready-made orange peel powder.
Yes, you can, but I wonder why would you want to do that? Oranges are there in the market. What do you do with the peels anyway? So, if you have fresh peels, you have fresh orange juice, then might as well use the zest.
Ikra is requesting you or asking Amul cream ka sweet banana dikhao please.
We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely do that. Probably the next time we'll put something with Amul cream in it.
Can almond nuts go into the dough? Is a question asked by Nina.
Well, we did put 50 grams of almond powder in the recipe. So there was almond flour, which is 50 grams. There was 100 grams of maida.
She's asking, can the nuts go directly into the...
Yes, nuts can go. They will just add texture. So if you don't have a issue chewing your cookies, then definitely those almond flakes can go in. I've left a little bit of flakes in my crust because I want it little crusty. I want it a little have a little texture, and you want to see almonds there. If you have them, why not show them off? So that's why it's fine if they don't come out to be a fine powder, but sure you can make a coarse mixture.
Brahmreet is asking, is it compulsory to use almond as it's one of the big fat allergens? What is the substitute for it?
Well, if you are allergic to almonds, then please use something that you're not allergic to. Almonds is something that I like because they're full of essential oils, good source of proteins. So definitely something that I would put if I was not allergic to it. But if you're allergic to almonds, then please skip it with any other nuts. And if you don't have nuts, if you don't want to do nuts, the simplest cookies wouldn't have anything besides butter, the sugar and the flour. So those are the simplest ones.
Suggest the nuts.
Pistachios are good. Pista powder is very good because they're again very healthy and they have a very nice color to them. So pista is what I would put, and cashew nuts. These are the two things that I would that come to my mind directly right now.
Walnuts?
Walnuts too, yes. Walnuts too. They're a little oily though, so I haven't tried the recipe. We might just want to tweak it a little bit because this one has enough amount of butter in them. So walnut also is a little oily sometimes. So we'll have to just check the proportion.
Samrid wants to know, do we need a binder for the dough? If yes, can we use egg?
No, you don't need any sort of binder. The proportion is very simple. You will not need any sort of a binder. Definitely no eggs. This is a very simple vegetarian recipe. You don't want to add eggs to them. They're almost done. I'm going to put in one more line, and but very interesting questions indeed. Yes. I've kept a very generic shape. You might want to change the shape. This is very easy to roll into a square shape, or if you want to put it through a different mold. If you have something fancy at home, you can easily put this in a mold and make it something that suits your child's favorite cartoon character. Anything is possible with this because it is moldable. So you don't have any sort of limitations. I'm going with the generic round because of the sake of time, and it just sort of is easy. I got while I'm just set, I'm going to put. Guys, any more questions? In the next video, if you have something else that you want me to show you, please go ahead. I heard a comment about cream based recipes, so definitely that's something I can do next time. But please go ahead and tell me what you would want to learn. I can probably do that the next time we are interacting. Alright, we're almost done, just a couple of more them, and then this is going to go in the oven. It requires 180 degrees of temperature, but just be careful, some ovens are not as accurate, so you want it between 160 and 180. And often in the domestic ovens, what happens is the elements are only on one side. So what happens is it might look as if it is not cooked from the top, but the bottoms would be cooked. So be careful as to where the element is in your oven. And this is a very small amount of dough, so it doesn't take too much time, and it's easily it's very easy that you overdo them. So just be careful.
इकरा सेज जो बाहर मिलती है फ्रूट क्रीम वो वाली बाहर जैसे नहीं बनती, प्लीज़ आप सिखा देना.
Certainly, Ikra, I'll keep that in mind. But right now, this is ready to go into the oven. These are 24 cookies. I was almost correct. I've got 26 cookies ka dough. I've made 24. I'm going to put this in the oven right now. So the oven is right here behind me, 160 degrees. I've set it at, and this is going to go in.
Shri Priya wants to know how can we store the remaining dough.
This can be kept in the refrigerator again. This has flour in it and butter in it, so can be easily cling wrapped. Keep it airtight and keep it covered and put in the fridge. Can easily be stored for 3-4 days easily. But I don't have too much dough left. I'll probably just bake them in the next lot, and this is almost done.
Nina is requesting, please tell us how to make orange peel candy to be used for cakes.
Right. So orange, again, you just need to remove the skin, and it has to be cooked in the sugar syrup. There is a proportion to it. I'll probably do the recipe for it the next time. But it's basically cooked in sugar syrup, and it just requires that you cook it on a gentle flame. The bitterness of the oranges should go away, and you cook it till the oranges are generally crystallized.
Harinder says you must put up the written recipe also.
Certainly. I will put it on my Instagram and also on my Facebook page. I am on Facebook at Chef Japvir, so I'll put it there as well. And this is going to go up as soon as we finish this video.
Ikra says ये गैस पे बेक नहीं होंगे क्या?
You'll have to just check. The last time I tried baking them, they got burnt from the bottom. So I wouldn't recommend putting them on a gas, because the heat is only from the bottom. So Ikra, invest in a small oven. It's going to serve you well.
Samrid is asking you to demonstrate butter chicken next time.
Oh yes, that's bound to be one of my favorites. But definitely. But head over to Chandigarh. I'll feed you some myself.
Gunu wants to know how can we make almond flour. I missed it.
Oh, well, quickly, it just has to be ground in the mixer. Nothing to be done. Almond, just put it in the mixer, grind it. That's all.
Ajay wants to know, chef, is egg vegetarian?
Is egg vegetarian? Well, that's an interesting thing. Biologically, it's not vegetarian, but a lot of people think that it's vegetarian. So I am on the side that it's not vegetarian, because it is. If you leave it where it is, it's going to turn into a chicken. So I am of the opinion that it's going to go into the non-vegetarian section.
Jimmy wants to know quantity of cocoa powder if you want to add.
Okay, about again 30%. You want to put 30% of flavoring to the maida, and then the rest is pretty much the same. So almond flour, replace the almond flour with the cocoa powder.
Rashmi wants to know at what temperature and till what time it should be baked.
Between 160 and 180 degrees Celsius. And time is about 20 minutes. But keep checking your oven after 15 minutes. Sometimes the ovens are not as accurate.
इकरा से सर हिंदी में बताया करें.
बिल्कुल ज़रूर. अगला सारे sentences हिंदी में होंगे.
Nina says, and black forest cake please, that is your specialty too.
बिल्कुल. जैसे आप बोले बिल्कुल वैसे ही होगा. बट ये कुकी बन चुकी है. आई गॉट दिस बैच रेडी. ये मैंने आई बेक दिस इन द आफ्टरनून, कुछ देर पहले बेक करी थी. सो दिस इज गॉट अ क्रस्ट ऑफ द आमंड ऑन टॉप and they're cooked from the bottom. So just be careful, you don't want it to be of this color. So this is what it came out to be like. I'll break one to show you, and that's about it. You can see the orange peel in them. This was done a little while ago. I wanted to show you what it looks like.
इकरा सेज माइक्रो ओवन में कितना टाइम लगेगा और कितना टेम्परेचर रखना होता है?
इकरा अगेन आई वुडंट रिकमेंड अ माइक्रोवेव.
हिंदी में बताएं.
इकरा मैं माइक्रोवेव में कुकी बेक करने के लिए सलाह नहीं दूंगा, बिकॉज माइक्रोवेव की कुकिंग के तरीके और अवन में बहुत फ़र्क है. एक है कंडक्शन, एक है कन्वेक्शन. तो कंडक्शन तरीके से कुकी बेक होती है तो उसके अंदर सुंदर कलर आते हैं. ये कैरामलाइज होने की ये तब आता है जब वो चीज़ बाहर से पकती है. माइक्रोवेव के अंदर चीज़ें अंदर से पकती हैं. इसका पानी जो है वो गर्म होता है, पानी उबलता है तो आपकी डिश गर्म होती है. तो कुकी के अंदर अगर पानी की मात्रा पहली बात तो बहुत कम है, क्योंकि इसमें पानी डाला नहीं हमने. इसके अंदर आमंड फ्लावर है, मैदा है, बटर है और चीनी है. तो चीनी में जो नमी है उसी से वो माइक्रोवेव में पकेगी, तो वो टेक्सचर कभी नहीं आएगा और दूसरी बात कलर कभी नहीं आएगा. सो एक जो गोल्डन कलर है वो अगर आपको चाहिए वो तो आपको अवन से ही आएगा. सो माइक्रोवेव कन्वीनियंट है, बट OTG या अवन वो एक प्रॉपर तरीका है. सो माइक्रोवेव मैं बिल्कुल रिकमेंड नहीं करूँगा. After these cookies are baked, you have to just store them in an airtight container.
Nina suggests if you use butter paper, then they won't be burning at the bottom. Yes?
Very true. But I am at home and I am in lockdown, so I didn't have butter paper. So I had to be extra careful. So I didn't have butter paper. So that's a good suggestion. In fact, I think everybody should take a note of that. Butter paper from the bottom will save the direct contact of the cookie to the metal tray. But again, if you don't have it, be cautious. But अगर है तो please use the butter paper.
इकरा कह रही हैं अमूल फ्रेश क्रीम का 1 लीटर की पैक ओपन करने के बाद कितने दिन तक यूज़ कर सकते हैं?
फ्रिज के अंदर इफ़ यू कीप इट, इट कैन स्टे.
हिंदी में
अगर वो खोल फ्रिज में रखेंगे तो आराम से 1 हफ्ते तक चल जाता है. बट अगर आप बाहर रखेंगे तो मुझे लगता नहीं है वो 2 दिन से ज़्यादा चलेगा, बिकॉज क्रीम है और मौसम आजकल अच्छा नहीं है. सो 1 दिन से ज़्यादा भी मुश्किल है चलना. बट डब्बा खुलने के बाद 1 हफ्ता अगर आप फ्रिज में रखें तो.
एक और सजेशन है, मनिंदर कहता है अगर बॉटम जलने का डाउट है, अगर बटर पेपर नहीं है तो यू कैन टेक इट आउट मिडवे, चेक एंड रिवर्स द कुकीज.
यस, दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई डिड मनिंदर. यू नो स्मार्ट पीपल थिंक अलाइक, सो दैट्स एग्जैक्टली व्हाट आई डिड. पर क्या कहते हैं, दिस इज नॉट सो बर्न्ड, सो आई वाज कैचिंग दिस जस्ट एट द राइट टाइम. सही टाइम पकड़ लिया. सो यस, अच्छा आइडिया आपका.
ब्रह्मरीत पूछ रहे हैं व्हाट इज द सब्स्टिट्यूट फॉर कोकोनट ऑयल?
Substitute for coconut oil, so many, but again, where do you want to put it? Where do you want to put coconut oil?
इकरा पूछ रही है शेफ कौन सा OTG बेस्ट होगा?
Again, मैं brand whatever is good, I'm using a Bajaj. Bajaj is pretty good. अगर आपको कोई और ब्रांड पसंद है तो वो ले लीजिए, बट वॉटेज चेक कर लीजिए. इंपॉर्टेंट ये बात यह है कि वॉटेज अच्छी हो. मिनिमम 1000 वाट्स उसे लीजिएगा, बट एनीथिंग मोर देन दैट वो आपकी कई मल्टीपल जगह पे काम आ सकता है.
रेणुका पूछ रही हैं कैन वी यूज माइक्रोवेव और नॉट?
अगेन रेणुका जी, ये बात हम डिस्कस किया था. माइक्रोवेव इतनी अच्छी चीज़ नहीं है. अगर हमको प्रॉपर गोल्डन कलर की कुकीज़ चाहिए तो गोल्डन कलर की कुकीज़ तो अवन से आएंगी, क्योंकि वो कंडक्शन मेथड से पकती हैं. अगर आपको माइक्रोवेव से पकाना है तो माइक्रोवेव में चीज़ अंदर से गर्म होती है, पानी उसका नमी जो है वो इवेपोरेट होता है, उससे ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होता. सो मैं माइक्रोवेव से कन्विंस नहीं हूँ. अवन बेटर है. अगर आपके पास अवन है तो आप अच्छे केक भी बना सकते हैं, ब्रेड भी बना सकते हैं, घर में बहुत सारी चीज़ें बना सकते हैं.
समृद्ध इज आस्किंग ब्लैक एंड डेकर चलेगा?
ब्लैक एंड डेकर भी चलेगा, बिल्कुल चलेगा, एज लॉन्ग एज आप अच्छी तरह यूज़ करें.
ब्रह्मरीत का सवाल है कैन आई सब्सटीट्यूट कोकोनट ऑयल फॉर बटर एज ए फैट इन कुकी?
Yes, you can, because a lot of people are vegetarian and vegan. So जहाँ बटर नहीं है वहाँ पे कोकोनट ऑयल यूज़ होती है. So it's a good suggestion. But again, quantity and the flavor that we have to verify, because butter ka taste is coconut oil ka taste is much stronger compared to butter. So we'll have to just check on the proportion.
इकरा पूछ रही हैं सर आपका कोई ग्रुप है क्या?
I just answer that. I just check on the cookies. तो 10 मिनट हुए हैं. I'm just checking them on 10 minutes now. So this is nice, evenly colored, starting to brown from the bottom here, this one. But बाकी चीज़ें ऊपर से अच्छी हैं. So I'm going to let this go on for another 5 minutes.
Chef Ajay wants to know your views on vegan butter.
Very good. Again, views on vegan butter. Coconut is a very good base. Cashew nut is a good base. These things are slightly difficult to find in India right now. At least I have not found them too much here in Punjab, in Jalandhar or in Chandigarh. But there are people, artisan people who are doing this, and बहुत अच्छी बात है, because we are moving away from dairy, and that's a very good thing. And so definitely something that I would want to focus on in the coming days.
मनाली पूछ रही हैं सर, कैन वी यूज़ कुकर और कढ़ाई?
कुकर कढ़ाई डेफिनेटली यू कैन, बट टेक्सचर और कलर वो थोड़ा अलग होगा. करने के लिए कर सकते हो, बट अगेन ना उसका चेहरा ऐसा होगा, ना उसका टेक्सचर ऐसा होगा. सो प्लीज़ गो अहेड, मुझे बताइए कैसा बनता है. मैंने पर्सनली खुद कभी बनाया नहीं. सो प्लीज़ मुझे टैग करिए आपकी जब वो कुकर वाली कुकी बने या कढ़ाई वाली कुकी बने. प्लीज़ मुझे टैग करिए. मैं इंस्टाग्राम पे हूँ, फेसबुक पे हूँ. प्लीज़ बताइए. आई वुड वांट टू लर्न. मैं कुछ शायद नया सीख लूँ. सो इट विल बी इंटरेस्टिंग.
इकरा दोबारा पूछ रही हैं सर, आपने ग्रुप के बारे में बताया नहीं.
ग्रुप, राइट. मैं मैरियट में काम करता हूँ. सो JW मैरियट चंडीगढ़, मैं वहाँ पे एग्जीक्यूटिव शेफ़ हूँ. सो ऑब्वियसली मैं मैरियट के साथ जुड़ा हूँ, बट इसके अलावा किसी और ग्रुप के साथ जुड़ा नहीं हूँ. आप हमारा खाना टेस्ट करना चाहें तो प्लीज़ कम टू चंडीगढ़. वहाँ पे देयर इज़ सो मच दैट वी हैव टू ऑफर. सो यस, ये ग्रुप के साथ जुड़ा हूँ, वो है मैरियट, और मैं हूँ JW मैरियट चंडीगढ़ में.
Rashu says, Chef, next time please show recipe for baking a pav at home.
Okay.
From scratch.
Right. I will do that. As long as आप भाजी बनाने की रेसिपी भेजें. So I'll make the pav, you make the bhaji.
Ajay Sharma says, Chef, last question. What does cooking mean to you? And what will be your last meal to cook? Also, what is your guilty pleasure?
So ये 3 questions combined into one. नहीं, there is cookies को है. There are 5 minutes more, so you can ask more questions. बाकी we are friends on WhatsApp too. You can ask questions on WhatsApp as well. But
what does cooking mean to you?
What cooking is I think cooking is just love. Cooking is love, and nothing more, nothing less. I think it's the most simple emotion.
What will be your last meal to cook?
Last meal to cook. I live in the moment. I don't know what it is going to be. If I know that it is going to be my last dish, I will make it the best dish. And what is it going to be? It could be anything.
And what is your guilty pleasure?
So much. There is sometimes ice cream, sometimes butter, sometimes I love eating. So eating is eating of any sort.
Chef Rahul asks, can we make on wood fire oven?
I think that will be a brilliant thing, Chef Rahul, because wood का जो taste है वो will add another this thing. But ये सबसे traditional method होता था cooking का, wood fired. तो 100 साल पहले कहाँ थी OTG? So जो आप कह रहे हो, that's a very authentic and very original idea. But again worth doing. आप जब बनाओ please बताना. We'll eat it together.
इकरा कहती हैं आप लाइव रोज आते हो?
नहीं, मैं लाइव रोज नहीं. अमूल में कोई ना कोई रोज आता है. अमूल इज डूइंग अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग इनिशिएटिव. बहुत सारे अलग अलग शेफ्स इंडिया के सारे काफ़ी सारे माने शेफ्स आते हैं. एंड बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ अमूल ने करी है. एंड तो प्लीज़ आप अमूल का पेज चेक करते रहें, एंड काफ़ी कुछ आपको मिलेगा सीखने के लिए. ये लीजिए, my cookies are done. They're just about right. This is going to be taken off the tray. I don't want it to overcook और पकना नहीं चाहिए. I'm going to slide it off onto another plate.
Brahmreet has also sent a request for demonstration of ginger cake next time.
Right, I'll do that. But is everybody fond of ginger? I was told a lot of people are not fond of ginger.
Pragna has appreciated the initiative by Amul.
Well, 3 cheers to Amul and 3 cheers to Marriott. I just hope आप ये चीज़ें घर में try करें and tell us how the experience is, because proof of the pudding is in eating it, baking it, or in lockdown if you don't have time, then I don't think you'll have time ever again. So please use it to learn and also do.
Sri Priya suggests you to make an eggless cherry cake next time.
Well, that's an interesting recipe. I will do that very soon. ये लो जी, I am done with my cookies. That's my platter of, ये लीजिए. Those are very warm, very buttery, very delicious cookies. I can smell it. I wish आप smell कर पाते. कितनी अच्छी खुशबू आ रही है इससे. The oranges, the almonds, the butter. I wish this had technology to transfer the aroma of freshly baked cookies. This is from my home to yours. This is from the Marriott team to you, and this is from the Amul team to you. I just hope आप इसको please बनाएं and share your experience with us. I am Chef Japvir, and share us your interesting recipes, interesting ideas. आप क्या चाहते हैं वो बनाएंगे. But this is looking gorgeous. देख सकते हैं आप कितने अच्छा लग रहा है. So this is all that I have done today. Didn't take too much time. 20 मिनट में हो जाता. But the point is that I got to spend time with you. बहुत अच्छा लगा. I hope you had a fun session too. And I will sign off very soon. Any other questions? I'm going to start eating them because I can't wait. But if you have more questions, shoot. Otherwise, these cookies are going where they're supposed to go. I think we had said thank you so much, everybody. Please take care of your family, stay home, and cook well. Enjoy eating, enjoy baking. I'll see you around. From Chef Japvir and the JW Marriott team, bye-bye.